Today I'm joined by DFS Director of Product Management Nuno Almeida, Senior Product Manager Dan Large, and Senior Business Development Manager Andrew Fawcett as we discuss hydrotreated vegetable oil, also known as HVO. Thank you all for joining me today. So HVO is a term many might have come across in the last few years amid the energy transition, but today we're going to examine what impact HVO will have on the future of fuel retail and the convenience industry, as well as key considerations for fuel retailers looking to make investment in this alternative fuel. Described as 100% biodegradable and responsibly sourced, HVO is an innovative fuel developed to help reduce dependence on standard diesel. In fact, it can be used as a direct drop-in replacement for standard diesel and offers impressive and rapid carbon reduction. HVO, in fact, is now in use across postal, logistics, and public transport fleets in Europe, delivering up to 90% CO2 reductions without replacing engines or infrastructure. So, Dan, just coming to you. For retailers looking to implement HVO in their day-to-day business, what should they take into consideration when it comes to fuel dispensers?
So there's actually not a lot that they need to take into consideration when moving from a standard diesel to a HVO. Generally, for a dispenser, it's a drop-in replacement. Our dispensers are more than capable of running with HVO as a fuel. If it's older sites, they may consider some cleaning and some changing of seals, but generally it's another fuel. It's a replacement of biodiesel, which are already our dispensers are capable and certified to work with.
Great. And so you mentioned that it is a kind of drop-in replacement. Does making the switch to HVO incur significant site updates or a large investment from retailers?
No, is the short answer. We all hear a lot about energy transition and transitioning away from traditional fuels. HVO is a good first step in an energy transition, and it's much less to consider in terms of investment than going to electrical infrastructure or other cleaner energies. So there is no real additional costs for it being a clean energy. Generally, again, with anything, there might be some cleaning out older fuels so that you've not got mixing anywhere on your site, but generally it's a straight swap-in replacement. You may have some cost of the fuel being slightly more expensive per litre than a standard diesel, but your infrastructure cost is minimal.
Okay. Well, it's definitely something for retailers to consider. And obviously we mentioned in the introduction there that HVO is now in use across postal and logistics and various public transport fleets across Europe. Are there fuel sites for commercial and passenger vehicles offering HVO? Are they already in use?
Absolutely. We see HVO requests in many places in Europe, in the Nordics. We see a large number of HVO requests, and that is also becoming more prevalent in other areas of Europe as well.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And then just moving into automatic tank gauging is another key part of any fuel retail site. Nuno, just coming to you, when it comes to automatic tank gauging, can HVO be monitored like any other standard fuel?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, it's just another type of fuel. So our product that contacts actually with the fuel is the probe that goes inside the tank, and the probe is built with materials that are compatible with the regular products as well as the new products like HVO or ethanol blends. So transitioning from diesel to HVO is not an issue. There's nothing to be done. Only as Dan was suggesting for the dispenser, if the tank has been serving diesel for many years, it's likely that there will be some sludge and some dirt. Yeah,
Mhm.
if possible, removing the probe, cleaning up the shaft and the float, putting it back, but no other operation other than this is necessary. There's no need to replace any components. The float and the probe shaft are compatible with HVO. So we have many customers that have done this already, and the transition was really smooth.
That's great to know. And then I imagine as well for those customers, when they were looking to adopt HVO, they were able to do that in addition with the standard fuels on their site.
Yeah, it's a very smooth transition. In the first cases we had of customers approaching us, customers were concerned if the floats were compatible, chemically compatible.
Mhm.
We have reports that confirm that. So once that has been confirmed, the transition was very simple, and the adoption was quite easy.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then there is no other specific HVO probes or ATG equipment that retailers would need to consider if they
No,
were looking
nothing. No, what they have already working in the site can be used for HVO. If they are adding a new tank, they need to buy another probe and add that to the existing tank gauge. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, great. And then Andy, we'll just come to you. In terms of HVO and wet stock monitoring, can HVO be monitored by DX Wet Stock and how?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, similar theme to what Dan and Nuno have been saying. To us, it's an additional grade to the system. We treat it as a separate grade. What happens on site before that is obviously the equipment changes and whatever needs to be done in order to accommodate the grade. But from our side, we change those details as per the customer's requests in our system. So if one day it's a diesel and it changes to HVO, then the next day we change it and tag it separately. We would reset some of our statistics and reports so that it's not looking back over half of the day on diesel and half of the day on HVO, for example.
Mhm.
We treat it separately as well, which helps with the customer's requirements for monitoring themselves. So they can split out per grade. So rather than categorize everything as biodiesel or diesel, they can see the breakdown of how much of HVO they've sold. So yeah, it's very much treated as a new grade and very easy for us to implement. And we've got many customers that are currently using that already, both in the UK and around Europe.
Yeah, it definitely seems like from talking to you all, it's very simple and easy adoption. It would just be a case of some minor tweaks. All of you have kind of mentioned that the disruption to a fuel retail business would be minimal. However, we haven't touched on connectivity. If someone was to to invest in HVO, would that just slide into operations as normal, or would connectivity between site equipment change at all, Andy?
No, I don't believe so. Like we said, it's a grade change or a description change in regards to the data that would be submitted between the various pieces of equipment on site. Obviously, you would need to sync them all, so you wouldn't want your point of sale to have unleaded and then that your tank gauge is actually calling it HVO. So
Mhm.
once that synchronization on site is all done, it will all flow back to the likes of DX Wetstock. And yeah, it's all in sync and ready to go.
No, perfect. So it's basically above and below ground connectivity for HVO, and it seems like a very simple switch for retailers looking to consider an alternative fuel. Um, well, thank you all for joining us today. And to our audience for joining our HVO LinkedIn Live. If you would like to learn more about DFS products and solutions in relation to HVO adoption, you can visit our website or you can reach out to a local DFS representative. You can also reach out to any of the contacts on the screen as well. For more HVO information, you can listen to our latest podcast. You can search Fueling the Conversation in any place that you listen to your podcast episodes, or you can scan the QR code on the screen now. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you on our next LinkedIn Live.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you all.
Thanks, Sarah.